Okay guys, as you know, I finally decided to venture into vinyl. So I have been a Kirmuss turntable owner for the last 8 days, and a lot of you guys have been sending me emails about the importance of a record cleaner. So I'm here with Charles from Kirmuss Audio, and it's going to be very interesting to hear the importance of having a record cleaner. I don't have one yet, I must say.
Okay.
So I'm still slinging this right here.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I invented digital video audio and digital video audio recording back in 1989 on tape for
Wow.
the surveillance industry. And I do not own any digital media at all at home. Nothing.
Wow.
I have reel-to-reel tape, my records that I end up buying, and a turntable.
Okay.
So I got into this business because of the fact that I could not understand why people were selling, whether they be vacuum machines, whether they be ultrasonic machines, at prices that go from $2,000 to $10,000. I was at the high-end show in Munich 12 years ago, and I was the Rogers BBC speaker rep guy because I have an office in China for my other manufacturing concerns for Homeland Security. I was there, and next to me was a guy with an ultrasonic, and next to me with a vacuum cleaning system, and they were like $8,000, $10,000. I said, there's something wrong. The vacuum system died, so I got a discount, but I ended up buying both, brought them back home, we took them apart, and they basically did nothing. And the same thing, to try to figure out what was going on, we actually played a test record, and we subjected, in that case it was a Shure test record, and we didn't have any kind of improvement on the signal. It was the same. As a matter of fact, it was worse.
Wow.
And we found out that those cleaning systems coded the record. So long story short, now 11 years later, we now have a patent on our process where we've discovered that none of the systems, including mine, if I did not add our little secret sauce, does nothing to the record.
Okay.
And the reason is, this is what we really want.
Okay. Come on, guys. Let's see.
Understanding how a record is made.
Okay.
So a record basically is made off a master tape, and we basically have a lacquer that's cut with a linear tone arm with linear length, and it then creates mothers and masters. So this is a stamper. This is stamper side A. This is stamper side B. And this basically is what we're going to press into a biscuit. So this biscuit is PVC, which is clear. The manufacturers add carbon, which creates black. The black is important because it's kind of a lubricant. It reduces the friction between the groove and your needle. So this biscuit is made at the factory, and the record is then made with the label already falling down onto the stamper. We then have the biscuit that follows the stamper. Another label goes on top, and then now the stamper squeezes the record and it pops out of this press. And the patent is where we discovered something that was lost since the Shure brothers in 1970s, called a pressing oil. They had problems with the V15 Mark IV cartridge. Those of you that have one of those, Shure said, how come this new needle is picking up junk on the needle? Mm-hmm. They found out there was a pressing oil. The pressing oil, we called it a release agent, and we discovered only 2 years ago that lost document that Shure made that allows the record to pop out on the machine.
Okay.
Okay. So the release agent is part of your record, and it's what your needle is writing at the house. So if you, without that release agent, the record wouldn't pop out. So now if you go back to a brand new record that you just bought, and you play it and you hear a pop, you say, well, I just bought a new record. Mm-hmm. What is that pop?
Yeah, that's actually happening to me with some new records that I just recently bought, and that's a good.
So what happens is these records pop out of the machine and are about 130 degrees Fahrenheit in temperature. So these are hot. These factories, as you'll see if you come to our seminar or go on our website, they're very dirty. So this oil, pressing oil, my release agent, that dust lands on it and gets micro-welded into the groove. So this is using $175,000 Keyence VHX 7000. I had to buy this to prove to Michael Fremer of Stereophile back in 2018 that there is a release agent and there is dust. Every time I hit this record at this spot, there's that pop. And if you play that record sometimes at home and you hear more pops, It's because your needle at 1200 degrees or so is heating up that oil again, and dust around your turntable lands onto that oil and gets micro-welded into that oil again. So you've created more pops.
Got it.
So our patent is to find a process to remove that oil. So here, you can see there's that piece of dust here. After our process, in this case here, 3 5-minute cycles, the dust is gone. But also, the oil is covered the detail of the stamper. So by removing that release agent, I now have the needle riding on the stamper. Of course in reverse, but I'm now riding this, not with oil. So in a new record, we'll give you 1.3, 1.4 dB gain of signal out of a brand new pressing. You will hear the artist as it was recorded in the studio.
Really?
Absolutely. It's the best bang for your dollar. Now, if you go and buy used records that are vintage, we'll give you 3 to 4 dB gain, because all of these records were cleaned by other processes and they all leave a coating.
Wow.
So you have a release agent and you have whatever was air or vacuum dried by all of these systems that are in this building. So the way that we get the release agent out is our patent.
All right, so this is what you make, right? This machine right here.
So
Let's talk about this one.
This uses an ultrasonic. We have 35 kilohertz ultrasonic. It's the right frequency for dust that's between 3 and 5 microns. The trouble is ultrasonics are not even. You'll see here, very uneven signal. So one of the patents we have is where we apply a resonance. So we bring 70 kilohertz down, so we even out this. So now we have an even cavitation.
Okay.
Long story short, if I put a record in this machine, the record will do absolutely nothing. It'll spin, but I won't do anything because the record and the water, or the record with or without soap in this tank, repel each other. It's called the triboelectric charge table. So if we look over here, I'll turn this off so it doesn't affect the camera. This is what I've done. I've taken the record, I put it in a bath. I can keep this record in my bath for 10 years. It'll remove maybe a little surface oil, but not the release agent, not the pops, because the water and the record have the same charge. So what we do to help your records is we apply a spray on the record.
Okay.
The spray changes the charge to be opposite to that of the water.
Oh, wow.
So then now I put it in the machine, and now we do several cycles, where as the record now spins in the machine, I'm attracting the cavitation created by the ultrasonic. But unfortunately, as it turns, the charge goes back to negative because it gets washed off. So I have to take the record out, I reapply a spray onto the record, put it back into the machine for another cycle. So how do I know that I've restored the record? We have a patented process where as I am putting this spray and applying it onto the record, I have a coloring agent that will show a white material appear. The white material that appears when I just put the spray on is what the ultrasonic softened in the prior cycle.
Okay.
It's not a green light that says it's ready. How do you know it's ready? You don't. It's a timer. We tell you by in and out of the machine, you'll see an increase of white material and then a decrease.
Got it. Okay.
When there's a decrease, there's nothing left in the groove. So new record, 1.3, 1.4 dB gain over floor, and on a record of provenance unknown, use 3 to 4 dB gain.
Wow.
And you now see and
big.
feel the music.
Okay.
And you see the imagery. We have major manufacturers, Jeff Rowland's Audio, Audio Note, Galaxy turntables, Mark Dolman turntables, Acoustic Signature. They all use our products on their records. And some of the folks at the show, not this year for Jeff Rowland, but he has a sales manager take your record that you brought from home.
Yep.
And he will restore it before they play it on their turntable to show how good their system is.
Nice.
Because it starts with you playing basically the stamper. So that's what we do.
Interesting.
And unfortunately, you know, a lot of people were skeptical. So we created these aluminum foil records for Michael Fremer, where when we put them in a machine, they should show what you see here. Cavitation. Even cavitation on both sides of the record. And also, the spacing is important to make sure that whether the record's in here, 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 or here, that we have cavitation. unfortunately, most systems don't do anything. Here's one of these homemade skewered systems that you'll see around the shows. And what they do is they have the records so close that 35 kilohertz without that resonance, look at that, there's no cavitation. No cavitation, no cavitation, no cavitation. It's done nothing. Because of A, the frequency is not modulated or modified, and also we're now putting in the same 6-liter tank 10 or 12 records. It doesn't work. So Michael Fremer was skeptical, and in August of 2022 he wrote an article in Stereophile before moving to Absolute Sound saying, I may not agree with Charles all the time, but you know what, his ultrasonic test with foil kind of makes sense. So when that article came out, I then bought this cavitation tester, $8,000 tester. You put it in the machine and you will see cavitation measure. There we go. Okay, so that multiplied by the multiplier, I'm at around 810 cavits, which is a measurement of cavitation. So I bought this for him to say, okay, let's put it in this machine. I'm going to turn that off so it doesn't affect your microphone. Sometimes it does. So here's a machine advertised at 120 kilohertz. Last year with Michael, no dimpling, no ultrasonic. Oh, come on, Charles, it can't be. Machine being sold for 14 years from Germany.
Wow.
Take this now in here, 0, no cavitation. It bubbles, so it's not ultrasonic. Here's a 120, that was a 40 kilohertz. Here's a brand new 120 kilohertz machine, same thing, no cavitation. We proved it now with this. So, like Michael said, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors in this industry, so that's why we're the only people that guarantee you the dB gain.
Interesting. Well, I definitely have learned so much, guys, with this, with regards to record cleaning and the importance.
Yeah.
So I want to
and we use it, and we call it record restoration. Or record groove restoration.
So not even cleaning, yeah.
Because we're not surface shining. As a matter of fact, I suggest everyone that loves music, go to the Goodwill stores. In Denver, 50% off on Tuesdays. A record for 12.5 cents. They're the original records from the original artists, from the original keyboard people that are doing the mixes. They're analog. The artwork is all original. I don't care if the records are scratched, because by removing that release agent, I'm now with the proper area of the groove. And they're the best. They're the best.
Okay.
And 7 times out of 10, we all have scratched a record with the tone arm going, and you'll hear that click every revolution. 7 times out of 10, I won't hear it because the needle now is in the right spot. So that's what we do. We have videos from around the world on our website, kirmussaudio.com. A lot of reviews out there, and we're just passionate about music. And analog is the real best way to go. It really is.
Well, he said it, and I am in the process of verifying what he's talking about. Being a digital guy for the last decade, and now for the last 7 days, a vinyl turntable owner, I want to definitely continue to pursue this. And I am, as you see, guys, trying to get all the pieces that have to do with vinyl, in my mind, so that I understand, like, what is it that I need to be doing. And certainly this is something that I'm going to be, looking into a bit closer than ever. And hear what he's talking about the gain, the decibel gain that you hear when you clean, when you restore a record. So hopefully you like this video. Thank you, Charles, again.
And one last thing for your viewers, if you don't have the money for it, always use a felt brush to remove the dust off your record before playing it. You can use a carbon fiber that's grounded to remove the static. That will at least prevent you from burning in dust in that release agent that's on that record, because you haven't stripped it. So you won't create more pops. And it also makes sure that any dust doesn't accumulate overly on your needle. Okay. And going back to digital's convenient. It's great. It's portable. But an analog signal is a full wave. If I'm now chopping it up and taking parts off, I'm removing something. Now our brain can stitch that all together, but if you want to feel the emotion of the artist and the trembling and the timbre, you need that wave, and that's what analog gives you.
Well, he said it best, so I couldn't articulate what he just said. So I want to thank you guys and hopefully you're enjoying this content. Thanks, Charles.
Thank you very much, and I've
Thank you.
seen your videos, by the way.
Thank
As
you.
a matter of fact, I heard the one about you going in